Thanksgiving. Today, it's a holiday marked by parades, football, and an overwhelming spread of turkey and pie. But back in 1621, the first Thanksgiving table looked drastically different from the one we know today. Rather than a big turkey, imagine a spread with eels, venison, and curdled milk. Yummy. So how did this humble gathering between two peoples turn into a national holiday celebrated by millions across the United States? To answer this question, let's go back to what the first Thanksgiving actually looked like. While days of thanks were already a common tradition among European settlers, what we often call the first Thanksgiving actually refers to a 1621 meal shared between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people. The Wampanoag, a native tribe with deep roots in what is now Massachusetts and Rhode Island, had lived in the northeastern woodlands for over 10,000 years. You can learn more about the Wampanoag in the resources below. Now, when the Pilgrims arrived in December 1620, they faced a harsh winter that they were unprepared for. Almost half of the settlers didn't make it through that first season. Despite the impact of diseases from prior explorers that had devastated their own people, the Wampanoag sought an alliance with the Pilgrims, showing them fishing, hunting, and agriculture techniques that were essential for survival. The following year, during the fall of 1621, the Pilgrims had their first successful harvest, and the two groups gathered for a feast to celebrate. The Wampanoag outnumbered the settlers nearly 2-1, bringing deer to the table, which was likely turned into stew. Alongside venison, the menu included shellfish, beans, and corn porridge, far removed from the turkey and stuffing we enjoy today. However, though we view this as the first Thanksgiving, during the time it wasn't called that. In fact, it wouldn't be until centuries later. You see, Thanksgiving didn't become a national tradition overnight. In the late 18th and early 19th centuries, American presidents like George Washington and James Madison occasionally declared days of Thanksgiving, but these days weren't explicitly connected to the Pilgrims or the 1621 feast. Instead, they were religious observances, opportunities for the young nation to thank their God for its blessings. As the years went by, New Englanders began to observe Thanksgiving annually, each region adding its own spin to the festivities. By the early 1800s, author and activist Sarah Josepha Hale recognized that Thanksgiving held the potential to bring Americans together. In 1827, she included a chapter on Thanksgiving in her novel, describing dishes similar to what we recognize today: turkey, stuffing, and pumpkin pie. In 1846, Hale started a campaign to make Thanksgiving an official national holiday, seeing it as a way to unite Americans. Her efforts finally caught the attention of President Abraham Lincoln, and in 1863, during the turmoil of the Civil War, Lincoln declared the final Thursday of November a national day of Thanksgiving, a move aimed at fostering unity across a fractured nation. Fast forward to 1939, and Thanksgiving became the center of another debate. As the country struggled through the Great Depression, President Franklin D. Roosevelt decided to move Thanksgiving up by 1 week to give retailers a longer holiday shopping season. Many were outraged, and after lawmakers voiced opposition, Roosevelt signed a bill in 1941, making Thanksgiving the fourth Thursday in November, a tradition we follow to this day. Modern Thanksgiving celebrations may be centered on turkey and pie, but it's also about gathering with loved ones, marking a day of appreciation and reflection. And while the average Thanksgiving dinner packs a caloric punch with around 3,000 to 4,000 calories, it's also about traditions, like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, which draws millions to the streets of New York City and millions more watching on TV. Thanksgiving football games are another time-honored tradition, dating back to 1920. In fact, this tradition is so big that in 2022, more than 42 million people tuned in to see the Dallas Cowboys take on the New York Giants, a testament to the holiday's blend of food, family, and fanfare. What began as a modest harvest feast nearly 4 centuries ago has transformed into one of America's biggest holidays. Today, Thanksgiving remains a day where we come together, honor our shared history, and celebrate gratitude, even if our tables have swapped venison and eel for turkey and cranberries. But before we end the video, we'd love to know, what's your favorite Thanksgiving tradition? Let us know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this brief journey through Thanksgiving's origins and traditions, be sure to subscribe for more content that expands your knowledge.